Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. I'm with wonderful Wolf, and let's get going. This is just a general share advice, not personal advice, as per the disclaimer you can see here on the website. Wolf, not the best announcements today, but we'll go through them, and let's have a look, and let's start with RUL.
Yeah, look, I'm intrigued to see how the market takes this, because the RUL update seemed okay from growth point of view. Obviously, the chart's not saying that they're expecting too much out of RUL at the moment, but you just never know whether they can arrest it sort of slide with that sort of announcement where they're talking about there's growth pretty much at all levels, right? So it's interesting because we saw NXD, which came out with 100% growth, yet 100% growth wasn't enough for the market yesterday, right? So this is why sometimes expectations are very, very different to what the company might come out. And funnily enough, when you look at NXD, they never said what they're expecting revenue-wise, yet a broker said, we're expecting this. And because the company didn't come up with what the broker was expecting, down she goes. I mean, is that actually a downgrade? Not really, because they never said what they're actually expecting, right, in the first place. But it's funny how the market works in a way. But anyway, we'll see what happens here. It's going to be intriguing.
Yeah, it will be intriguing. But the price action was pretty poor yesterday, and if it looked like that by the end of the week, it will go down a lot lower. So it needs some good news, Wolf. COS, it's amazing. What's in it? The little gremlins were getting excited at 70 cents. So. Obviously, someone knew there was going to be a good announcement coming, and surprise.
Yeah, look, the unfortunate case of low liquidity stocks, right? There's a chance that on small volume it can not respect the trend lines. We've seen it over the last year or two, right? It's just been up and down, above, below, above, below, above, below. So as an investor or a trader, you'd be very frustrated with this story to trying to trade, because you'd probably be in and out like a yo-yo, right, out of it. But generally speaking, fundamentals have actually been very good. You can't argue with them. They've been coming up with good results. They've been putting up more new contracts into them, and now today a 17 million over a 3-year contract. That looks pretty good. So for me, the story's still intact. The story's still rolling on. It's still probably one of the top 3 IT consulting businesses in the asset management space. So if you got the stomach for it, this is a pretty good story. But it is low liquidity, so you could see it up and down, like still not respecting that blue line.
SYA, Wolf, below trend. What's happening here? Look,
some basically good results coming through, Dave. This is what you've got, a company that's getting close to, I think, mining. It's got a asset in Canada and Quebec, and this is where the results kept coming through. And Canada is probably the hottest address. I know Australia is pretty good, right, with its lithium and so on, but it seems like Canada is emerging as probably even better than Australia in grade wise, right, with its lithium. So very interesting. So that's the 2 jurisdictions I'd be looking for if I'm looking for to have a punt on lithium. So more good results, pretty strong, nice and thick and high grades. So at the end of the day, it's certainly something that I'd be considering if it's trending as a possible little punt here and there.
Okay, it's not there yet at the moment. So CMM is Karlawinda, which is a gold mine delivering record gold production. And moving quite nicely. It's starting to get above a trend. It needs to do a little bit more, but not a bad. I think you picked this little gold play a while back, Wolf, didn't you?
Yeah, we have, and it's delivering. I mean, while maybe the share price is not doing fantastically well because of the gold price itself, the company again is delivering on its guidance. It's delivering production operation wise. So at the end of the day, another gold story that you can probably comfortably trend if it's trending, because when you look at it, production, it's in that league of a good production of about 125 ounces, I think, FY23. That's what we're talking about for Colour. It's not a high grade. I think it's a low grade, just under 1 grams per ton. But if you can go over 100,000 consistently, within a decent amount of AISC, right? So it's not too far away from the actual spot prices, then you're going to be going okay. You're still going to be probably running in the Benjamin. So at the end of the day, it looks okay.
Wolf, SOC, and could have actually quite a good data. It's an early story, but that's pretty exceptional growth they come up with.
Yeah, but if you read through the announcement carefully, there's a positive and a negative in there. So on the positive, you've had revenue growth above prospectus. On a negative, EBITDA below prospectus. How's the market going to take it? We're about to find out in about 3 minutes.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yes. So look, it is look. I'm interested in the company because it's in the same space as COS, but again, market expectations, all about that right now.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see how the market takes it. I think most probably just increased cost, Wolf, would you say? And
possibly, and I think that's probably a theme for a lot of companies out there at the moment, right? Where the bottom line is the margins are probably getting crimped a bit with whatever costs that they might be incurring. So I think the expectations are overall, Dave, from the market itself, that we are expecting some margin compression, right, over the next few months because of inflation worries and so on. So it'll be interesting to see how the market reacts, what the things, but they're still growing quite strongly. I think with the revenues up over 40%. So if you get that sort of growth, maybe you can forgive that slight miss on the EBITDA side, but we'll find out in a moment.
All right, EOL. I still think this needs to get back over those trend lines for us to be interested in this, Wolf. What did you make of the announcement?
Well, look, I'm interested why it's gone up last week so beautifully, right? What was the insiders buying on it? Because the announcement today is actually quite positive, because the perception was, and that's why the share price is going down, that they're going to miss guidance. So they actually said in their announcement saying, oh, look, I think the market's expecting us to miss guidance, but we're not going to miss guidance. We're actually going to hit our guidance, what we said we're going to do. So you can see it's still trying to get back over those trend lines. So overall expectations versus what the company is delivering, and right now looks like the actual company is delivering what they said they're going to do, and the actual investment fraternity is wrong.
All right, you see the market's open, so you see some of these starting to move up now. PMT is a really interesting one. They're talking about a shorting attack, and the market likes the way they answered this. At the moment, it's up. We'll be interested to see where this is by the end of the day, wouldn't it?
Dave, I think that the short attack is very misguided, I have to say, right? And the reason why, there's nothing wrong. Remember, I've always been preaching about only short a broken company. Do not short something because you think it's expensive, right? Because it's going to probably bite you on the ass. We've seen it with so many stocks out there. So for me, that's not a broken company. It's just a perception that they might miss their resource statement. And then I think they talked about the resource statement that they are expecting 100 million tons odd. We'll see. At the end of the day, this is still a great jurisdiction to be in, really strong results, right? So what can you actually say it's a negative? That it's expensive for what it's coming up with? I mean, that is just, again, you're playing with fire here as a shorter, to be honest, because I tell you what, I think the investment is much stronger than your one single individual thinking that this is expensive. It's got to go down.
Yeah, no, I agree. Wolf, AW1 capital raise, which is pretty normal. You got little Pure Foods that came up with a upgrade in growth with some of their food products, but it's still below trends, so really not interesting at all to really have a look at. So of these stories that are starting to move and look fairly good, is any of these that you'd be interested in buying, or not really?
Look, it's hard to say. Look, I'm thinking PMT could be a good little rebounder, right? On the back of addressing that shorting business. So that's my only one that probably I'm thinking if there's going to be a punt here off the trend lines, this is the one. You know, RUL, EOL, they've been under the water for some time, so probably just need to see them do a bit more over the next few weeks. Maybe wait for the actual reports in August. CMM, okay, right, but it's all about the gold price, so it's difficult to really get excited right now. Like I said, COS and SOC, it's a tough one because they are so lightly traded again to be really confident that this is going to go up with any announcement. So probably right now, no. I have to take them. Like I said, PMT was the only one I might have a think about, but just got to wait till a little bit further towards the end of the week.
Two others that obviously Bell Financial had a good result, but under trend, so we're not interested in. And Drone Shield, they did have quite an interesting announcement, Wolf, that they've been put on one of the product lists for NATO, I think.
Yeah, what does that actually mean? I read through their announcement, I'm thinking, so does that mean it's like one of those made in Australia box ticked?
Well,
buy local, buy Australian.
I don't know, but it's always very nice putting NATO in the headlines. So I mean that gets a bit of attention.
Yes, that's the thing, isn't it? You're almost, I suppose, in a sort of like a circle of if NATO needs something, you are probably on the.
What they say, they're hopeful that this will help them sell in both NATO and non-NATO countries, just having some sort of tick of approval. So
yeah, absolutely, I'll definitely help them. It's certainly positive, but I just wonder what it's going to mean for financial wise. Probably nothing for the moment until, of course.
No, it's something down the track in the future. Wolf, I thought we'd go just have a look at these hot stocks for the last few weeks. TLX, I think it's holding up. It just looks like it's going to go sideways now for a while, but it's not giving me any reason to get out of it. CHL's doing really well. It's up like 16% and moving, which is great. And BDM was the Burgundy Mines, which we put as a hot stock, which is going in the right direction. So possibly that was a good little nibble down on the trend line. We will see. A lot of risk, Wolf. Diamonds, you don't get many diamond stories ever really make it, do you?
Probably zero. So I tell you what, this is a hot stock of all hot stocks. But I tell you what, I mean, yeah, again, let me reiterate it. You're backing the man here, right? Whatever you might have misconceptions about diamonds, you gotta just believe the dude that he can.
I think any guy that goes in and picks up an iron ore mine for 10 million and turns it into a $3 billion company, right?
Exactly. But you just got to trust him. And then, like I said, you asked me the question yesterday about diamonds, and I said I've known nothing about diamonds, right? The only thing I know is it's a money pit, and everyone fails.
It's a money pit when you get married, that's for sure. You've got to buy one for the ring, but I mean,
you've got to trust the management to know what they're doing. They've done the due diligence, they know what they're doing, and fingers crossed.
But you know what? At the end of the day, it's, you can have if you get a little leeway, you got a nice little stop under the trend line anyway. So anyway, we will see. That's I think it's fascinating. I think Mike O'Keefe is just he's got to be. Come on, anybody in the world that sells a coal mine in Mozambique to Rio for $2 billion, then
he fails.
Well, then it fails. But
that was the best sale of the century. That was.
Well, you know why? Because the Rio Tinto wouldn't carry on the government subsidies to let them ship the coal out through the canal.
Yeah. But I think that Rio got sucked in. Saying that, at least from a point of view of what they bought, Ekati has been actually a fairly synonymous mine. I have heard about it, so it's not something they're boarding, something left field, that no one's ever heard about.
Well, it's the 10th biggest diamond mine.
I've heard about it before.
And you know what? I think BHP used to own it before, didn't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
So if it's a dog of a mine, it's obviously something there that he thinks he can make money on. And like I said, good luck to him. And if you are on this hot stock punt,
Wolf, we had a chat about this yesterday, because what I said to you is that the difference, what they're doing, they're going to polish and sell the diamonds themselves, right, where they get an uplift. So that will be interesting because, like you said, Dave, I'll believe it when I see it, right?
Yeah.
But
you know how skeptical I am.
no, but that's good, Wolf, that you need to be. But if they can make it work, right, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that is the thing. That's why we're backing the man. He's done his numbers. He knows where he can, he can probably maybe do this sort of, the Bloom Lake type, transaction where he buys this fairly well, doubles, triples, quadruples the share price, and thank you very much, right? I mean, that's the idea. He's pretty astute. I mean, when it comes to it, and he's based in Canada these days, isn't he? I mean, that's really bad.
I will apologize about putting that chart on. That wasn't very technical, was it?
Well, the first thing I when you asked me, I started to shake my head thinking, is this a hot stock? That's that word. But look, I understand where you're coming from because, like I said, you're punting the man. It's close to the trend lines. It had a big capital raising, so that's why the chart looks like. It's not only because they have bad announcements. The fact is that they've raised so much money that it had to go back.
Wolf, what was the one that you liked for this week? You liked a few, didn't you?
For what, the companies, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I can't remember. I think what I put down on my.
Was it Lynn?
Oh God.
Can't remember.
Jeez, Dave, I've got so many stocks in my head. I can't remember what I put down. I think CLX was one. I think.
Which one?
CLX.
I'll tell you what, that Lynn looks very good, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
And the other one, CLX.
Yeah, CLX was part of the weekly wrap. So that's going okay.
That looks good. That looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what else was there. But look, at the end of the day, they weren't too bad. It's we had a pretty interesting day yesterday because we started 30 points up and finished about 40 points down, right? So it was a fairly ugly day, but it's looking a bit better today.
All right, listen, Wolf. There's nothing really that stands out as a buy. I suppose what you could look at if you wanted. There was a high risk. Wolf said he would only buy this one if he was taking the product, but there's a marijuana stock VIT, which I know some of the boys are in. And Potter, I think it was Potter's came out with a 90 cents target price, so quite a big upside with VIT. I mean,
they've been smoking that pot, I'd say. That share price.
All right, we'll see if they're smoking. But if you were going to take the trade, you've got a tight little stop just under 50. Okay, so you stop out under 50 on a daily and see if it can go on with it.
Yep.
On that note, Wolfie, as to tonight at 7 o'clock.
Please join us. We've got lots to talk about.
All right, thanks, Wolf. See you, mate. Bye-bye.